Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint some koi fish in a pond. And we'll be showing you step by step how to do it from start to finish. Got my husband, Mark, with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's manning our chat for a live show. So if you have questions while I'm painting, you can ask those and I'll try to answer them. Let's get started. Alrighty, so I've already kind of sketched out here on my canvas. I've got a 9 by 12 inch Belgian Linen Pro Series canvas board from Fredrix. They're awesome. And thank you to them for providing our canvas today. I really love these, and they have a hard board inside so they don't warp. Really great texture on it, not too much texture, so it makes it really easy to do all these fun techniques that we'll be doing today. So this is kind of my Photoshop version of, I couldn't find a photo that was exactly what I wanted, so I kind of stuck some lily pad pads on top of the koi fish, but I want to simplify it even further. So I'm going to show you here in a minute how I do that, and we'll be sketching it onto some paper first so you can kind of see how I came up with the final sketch on my canvas here. But before we do that, I'm going to show you our brushes. We're going to use a number 4 Filbert, number 6 Filbert, and a number 2 round in the 6100 series. And then I've got my angle shaders, which are kind of my go-to brushes for pretty much every painting. They're the 1/4 inch and 3/8 inch Velvet Touch from Princeton. And then I've got a number 1 and a number 3 round for some of the smaller detail work. And then my 1/4 inch and 3/8 inch Willow's blender in case we want to put some texture on the scales or something. I'm not 100% sure we're going to need those, but we'll have them out just in case. And then I've got a small number 4 Filbert. So these brushes and all the list is on my store on thebrushguys.com. There's a list down in the description to go there if you want to check those out. Let's go over our colors really quick. And thank you to Princeton, they're our brush sponsor. Quinacridone Magenta, Cadmium Red Light, Quinacridone Orange, Burnt Orange, Cadmium Orange, Indian Yellow Hue, Yellow Oxide, Cadmium Yellow Medium, Phthalo Green Yellow Shade, Teal, Phthalo Green Blue Shade, Ultramarine Blue, Dioxazine Purple, Burnt Sienna, Burnt Umber, Titanium White, and Unbleached Titanium. This is Zinc White, which is transparent white. That'll be really important for some of our water details later. And then I've got glazing liquid here. So if you don't have these exact colors, just use what you've got that's similar. I just kind of went ahead and put out kind of the whole rainbow there, just so that we would have everything just in case we need it. Is that it? Okay, yeah, let's go over our drawing. I'm like...
You can slow down a little bit.
Okay, I can. All right. Well, this one's going to be kind of a longer one, so okay. I'm trying to...
Well, then speed it up. Let's go.
Well, I assume it's going to be longer since I've never painted koi fish. I'm kind of figuring. So what I wanted to do was just kind of leave some space in the water for some of the rocks to show through. We're not going to go into a lot of detail with the rocks, but I'm going to show you how to do that. So I wanted to kind of space my fish out in a way that they were sort of swirling around the canvas and kind of leading your eye in. And our flower over here is going to be kind of one of our focal points. It is kind of far off to the side. Usually you like to put your focal point like right on the third, but I didn't know if I could do it without, well, I mean, I guess I probably could move it over here and move this fish over. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and put it on the third because I think that that'll be a better way. I'm changing it as I go here. Even from what I drew there. There was a fish that I didn't want to cover up with it in my Photoshopped version, so I probably should have just done this sketch ahead of time. You'd think, right? Nothing like doing this live. So our flower is, we're looking almost straight down on this scene. So all of these lily pads and fish that's one thing that is kind of important because I found a lot of pictures of lily pads and fish and things that were at an angle or, different ones, but I had to find 2 pictures that were both from the top down. That way I had to get the right perspective because if you've got these flowers that you're looking at from the side and then your fish you're looking at from the top down, it can cause kind of weird things to happen with your composition, and it just will look off for some reason. So these petals are going to kind of overlap one another. You kind of do the outside ones, and then you just kind of tuck in your inner petals in between. And as we get toward the tip, there's just going to be little tiny parts showing through and a lot of little yellow thingies. So there's our kind of simplified lotus blossom. Actually, it's a lily. I noticed, I looked up the difference because I wasn't sure what the difference between a lotus, they look the same to me, lotus blossom and lily. And the only difference is that the lotus blossoms are up on a stem above the water. So the water lilies sit on the water and the lotus blossoms are up on a stem above the water. So little trivia you didn't need to know probably, but oh well. All right, you know it now. All right, so then I'm going to tuck my fish in here. That is the one that's kind of curling around here. I'm going to tuck him right in here. And I just kind of start with the tail so I sort of get that curve right because that's the most important part. And then he's going to curve around to right about here, I think. And then at the tip, I just make a sort of a V shape right here and then start to gradually narrow it. And as it gets toward the tail, it's going to get really narrow right there. So let's kind of bring that in. There we go. And then we're going to have this, going to have some fancy tail coming off this way. All right, then our little fins off to the side. Coming this way here, just kind of below, behind the head area. This way and this way. And then there is another fish right here that's curving like this. It's doing sort of an S curve in here. Like there. And then there's another one right in here. I'm just going to kind of try to get them spaced out here so I kind of know where I'm going to put them. I don't crowd them out too much. Okay. So these three are all kind of pointing in. And I'm deliberately doing that. I'm not having any of my fish facing out of the canvas. You could do some as long as you have enough of them kind of coming in. There was one that was kind of just the tail of it going off the side. I thought that might be fun to do, but I didn't want an even number of fish. So if I did one over here, I'd have to do another one over here. And I just thought, let's just not. So I've decided just to kind of keep them all in visible on the canvas here. So then there's one that's kind of coming here that's kind of close to this one. It's pointing in this way, and it curves out like that. This one's fins coming out like this. Very fancy. It's got lots of fancy fins off the side. Some of them are fancier than others. This one was kind of more plain, and you're going to kind of see more of the face. So it's kind of very angular, and it's got this V shape here and two eyes off to the side. And then right behind the eyes are these little fins that come out, kind of like that. And then his body is thicker, a little bit thicker than the other koi. More of a goldfish shape, kind of. And this one's got big, fancy fins coming off. Yeah, like that. All right. And this one curves in like this. Lots of fins down here. And then we're going to put in a big lily pad right here to fill in this empty space. And they're kind of oval shaped, not quite circular. Some of them are more circular than others, but so kind of do a very small wedge shape right there, and then our oval coming out. And then I decided to put another one just to kind of have them overlapping just a little bit right there. And then I decided to tuck one in here up at the top of the canvas, kind of going off the edge right there. Excuse me. And then this one I'm going to make a little bit bigger. I'm going to make my flower bigger to fill in a little bit more space over here. There we go. There we go. All right, so then our fish in here, there's going to be a lily pad right here. Another lily pad. And I'm just kind of varying the slices here. These little slice shapes kind of move. You can really kind of help like indicate the movement or the direction that you want the eye to go just by kind of putting these wedge shapes in a certain direction. So if I wanted it, to look up at this fish, I'd kind of do it this way. This way, I'm just kind of pointing it generally towards the middle. All these. This one's pointing down at this fish. There's going to be a fish tucked right in here. He's pointing out this way. And he's curving back in a little bit. And his head is kind of blunted off just a little bit. And then he's kind of like this fish here. He's a little bit less fancy. His fins aren't as long. Just got normal kind of fins. And then his tail is a little bit wider there. All right, and he's going to be the one we're going to see some scales on the back. And he's got kind of a shape right here and sort of like that. All right. Then I decided to go ahead and put in another lily pad right in here, just to kind of cut off that corner there. And then tucked another one in right in here. And so I might move this fish up just a little bit so that I have room for this one to go. I mean, they can overlap. It's not like you can't, you can have your fish going underneath a lily pad. I might just do that over here, do that over his tail there. And then this one I'm going to have the wedge shape kind of pointing in the middle. And we'll move him over a little bit so we've got room for his fins because he's got lots of fancy fins too. So we'll do like that, like that. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so there's our drawing, a basic composition.
So I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Are the fish running from the Pac-Man or the Pac-Man after the fish right now? I don't know if they ate the power pellet or what's going on. So
Yeah, just have to stay tuned to find out.
okay, thanks.
Oh, geez. Okay. I'm trying to look at and see if I want to move anything around before we'll see, this one is not here. Yeah, okay. And then I think I did. I tucked another one up in here. So this is kind of a concentration of lily pads, and then they're kind of spread out a little bit more over the rest of the canvas. So, all right, let's get paint in here. I could probably fiddle with that a little bit more, but I'm going to call that good enough. You can move yours around and put your lily pads wherever you want them on yours. Which is kind of fun thing about this drawing. And I think I'm going to keep. Yeah, see, I added another one. I think my drawing on there was my fish were a little bit smaller than they are in this one. So, actually, I'm going to leave this out in case I cover any of mine up so I can tell where to put them back, because I figure I'm going to probably cover up some of my details. I'm just going to keep that off to the side there. And I could have photoshopped it, but I didn't really want to try to Photoshop water. It just didn't seem like too much work. So, all right. And nobody got time for that. All right, so I'm going to start with my number 6 Filbert here. And I figured, well, there's a couple ways that I could have done it. I could have just painted the whole thing blue and, you know, the water first, and then did the fish, and then did the lily pads. And that's kind of how I was thinking about doing it first. But then I just decided to not. I just decided to go ahead and go with the go around them a little bit. So I am going to paint over the fins and then paint the fins back in, because those are thinner, but the rest of it's fairly solid. So I think we can just paint around our fish. So I've got Phthalo blue. I add a little bit of teal and a little bit of burnt sienna. Burnt sienna will tone it down, make it a little bit more natural watercolor looking. Water's not going to be super bright blue necessarily. I'm going to grab a little bit of ultramarine blue, add some of that in, and I'm going to go, like I said, right over the top of my fins. And I'm going to go over most of my lily pads too. In fact, I'm going to cover this one up completely. We'll decide if we want to put that one in later. There's some areas where it's pretty dark, so I'm going to grab some purple and add some areas in there that are darker. And I am just dabbing. I'm not going to really worry too much about what this looks like yet. Mostly just trying to get color down. But I am kind of looking underneath and seeing where those rocks are. So every now and then where I see a rock, I might grab a little bit of yellow oxide and unbleached titanium and add that to my blue and just kind of throw that in there where I see a rock and just sort of do a little light rock shape-ish. We're not really seeing a whole lot of detail with this one. If you do want to, go into a lot of detail with your rocks, that would be really cool. I think our water's not that clear and it's got a lot of movement going on in it. The fish are swirling around, so we're seeing some reflections and things happening on the top of our water. So we're not seeing really clear through our water to our rocks, but we can still put them in there.
So I know that you said it, but I wasn't listening.
Of course.
So why are you choosing the technique of coloring or painting in the water around and not doing the whole background?
Because I just felt like it would be a little bit faster. Okay. That's mainly the reason. I just feel like for our needs today, I just felt like it'd probably go a little bit faster if we did it this way. Plus, I think it'll keep me from getting too. Well, I think we'll get a little bit more painterly look because we'll have all these brush strokes kind of going in and around our fish, so we can. I don't know. I think it'll give it a. I'm gonna try to keep this kind of sort of impressionist type feel, like a Monet painting. Not quite that impressionist, but more loose than I normally paint, So I'm trying to kind of, this will force me to do that too. We'll kind of, because if I have a long area to work in, then I tend to just do like these long sweeping brush strokes that blend everything out. But if I've got a little tight area to work in, then I've got to do these little smaller brush strokes, and it can tend to look a little bit more painterly like.
Well, I'm sure I'll be impressed.
Oh, thank you. I don't even know why you said that.
Because you said you can do this more impressionistic.
Got it. I'm a little slow today. Sorry.
That's okay.
It took me a minute to catch on to your sarcasm.
After I explained it, yeah.
If you have to explain it, it's not as funny.
Yeah.
It loses some of its, yeah. Okay. Sorry, hon.
Welcome to the show, everyone.
Yeah, I'm already liking the kind of weird colors and things that are happening back there. So some of them, we've got some really like bright yellow colors under the water there. So I'm going to grab some yellow and mix that in with my, get some white here. Like out in here, there's some yellow stuff. I don't know what it is, but maybe sunlight, maybe algae, who knows?
It looks alien to me. Like in the Subnautica game.
Yeah. Okay, getting some blue here. This is Ultramarine Blue, just mixing it. Not cleaning my brush out, so I've got all these colors that are happening, and they're just gonna blend up. And if you feel like it's getting muddy, you can kind of clean your brush out too. There's gonna be times where you'll want a little bit cleaner look. So like in here, there's some lighter teal areas. So I'm going to get a little bit more of my white. There we go. I'm just trying to kind of leave the basic outline of the fish. Not worried about the tails at this point. And the more I press down, the more I'll get some of these colors that I've used over here coming off. Because I haven't cleaned my brush out, so I've got all these colors kind of built up on that end there. So I can kind of just press them in, get them worked in. Oh, I just painted over my fish. I thought it was a lily pad. Sorry, fishy.
Yep, you sure did.
There we go. Let me just pull it back off. Okay. Grab some of that brighter blue. There's darker colors in this corner here. Okay. More of that green in here. A little bit under here. here. I like it. Get some of that turquoise or phthalo blue and
Okay, the left side of the canvas looks like a dinosaur outline.
T-Rex.
Yeah.
Let's give it some teeth. Sorry, I had to do that. It's good. Speaking of which, I haven't painted a dinosaur yet, and I never did do the dragon, but I'm kind of glad now because I was very disappointed with Game of Thrones, so I would have been mad to have wasted my energy on that.
All those hours gone.
I know.
You'll never get back.
Yep. So you stick to Food Network.
Or video games.
Yeah.
Much more productive.
Right, right.
Life, world changing, you know, those kind of things.
Okay. I'm really liking this. I like the colors. I think it's coming out pretty good. Okay, so let's get some more of this purple and blue over here. This corner is very dark. Got a lily pad right here. I'm not gonna. Okay, yeah, I like that better. Here's that underwater rock-ish thing. There's our neighbor. Impressed with this car.
I love your explanations.
What? Rockish thing?
Rockish kind of thing here.
Well, it's not really very clear. It's kind of under the water, so you can't really tell what it is, but you kind of figure it's probably something like that under there. Okay, and then this bottom corner is very, very dark. So we're just going to get that in there.
Most people didn't know that you were a geologist also.
These are technical terms. Don't worry about it.
Little things
I
that
don't expect you to understand them.
we slowly share with the world all your talents.
Revealing them slowly, year by year. Okay. My footstool is creaking. Making all kinds of noises. I felt like there was something up in here. Did I take out something? I guess not. Oh, I guess it's going to be all part of that fishy tail. There, never mind. Never mind. I'm just talking to myself over here. Don't mind me.
I'm not.
Okay. Not paying attention at all. How's everybody doing today? In chat.
Everybody's doing well.
Yeah. Enjoying their Saturday. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us for a few hours.
Yeah. No questions other than mine, so you're doing a pretty good job, I guess.
Nice.
Got a few first-time live viewers out there.
Awesome. Welcome. Hope you subscribe. I'm sure they have if they're commenting.
Yeah. And they can pick up their prize pack at the door where they came in.
They're welcome. They're welcome back.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Visitors information.
Yeah.
I laugh, I can't.
Some brochures of local restaurants.
Got some information for you to take home with you when you. I'm sorry, that's pretty funny. We'd crack ourselves up. Okay.
Wait a minute, I remember I'm not supposed to talk.
Why are you not supposed to talk?
With that comment that you shared with me yesterday.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, here, I'm going to pull it up on my phone. Got the best comment the other day. The person's been blocked and banned, so don't even try to find it because it's not there anymore. But I had to take a screenshot of it because it was too good. Latifa Ahmed said, I like this very much. Oh, you can't see it.
Put your hand next to it, it'll show up okay.
It says, I like this very much, but can you do away with Mark? He creates disturbance in concentrating. So I think that's illegal in most countries, but doing away with your husband. I'm sure she didn't realize what that means in English-ish, it's American slang for killing somebody, but in case you didn't know, I'm not going to be doing away with Mark. Sorry. That is not happening.
All right. Whew, thank you.
I just got so tickled. I almost wrote back, but I just decided no, I'm not going to engage. I'm just going to block it and save it so that I can engage later when they can't say anything back to me.
That's right. Don't make it a fair fight.
Nope. I don't fight fair. I do not. That just cracked me up.
It's like somebody had posted a painting, and they said, "I'm pretty chuffed."
Yeah.
At that,
yeah.
And I'm like, that's not a term that we use here in the U.S.
Yeah.
So I had to look it up to see what
I
it
did
meant.
too the first time. I did too. Okay, so I mixed in some burnt umber with my purple and ultramarine blue here mixture. This will just give us a really dark, almost black color. I'm just going to go in here and kind of go up underneath our lily pads that we've got going on here. Give them a little bit of shadow. Something around our fish. Maybe there's shadows on the ground underneath them. I'm not worried too much about my shapes, trying to keep my brush strokes a little bit loose. This is going to be definitely a little bit more loose type painting than I normally would do. I'm usually like kind of more tighter painting, but I kind of thought this one, I just liked I love the water lily paintings that Monet does. So this is kind of going to be a little nod to him. Not quite, as detailed, obviously. Not quite as... and I have done a realistic version or, a copy of one of his paintings. So if you want to see that, I do have a lily pad, Monet lily pond, I should say, painting in my archives there. I think we did it last year, maybe. Okay, so I'll get a little bit more of that really dark color and just add it in here. I like it. So if we've done it well enough, when you look at it from a distance, it'll kind of feel like there's some depth there. Feel like we can see down into the water and maybe there's something going on down in there. All right, let me get a little bit more of this white and teal. Let me get a little bit of that green just to kind of soften it. And
yeah, I read you that article the other day about the person restoring a painting.
Oh yeah,
found another water lily underneath the painting. That he painted over.
Yeah, that he painted over.
It was just discovered like back in March or something like
Wow.
that.
That's pretty cool. I love reading correspondence, from other artists, especially artists that you think are like the bomb, that you're like, oh my gosh, they were so great. They must have never had any issues with, feeling insecure about their art or, but I mean, so it's just it's such a common thing. It just makes me feel so encouraged in a way to see that these, the art is definitely it's not a science. It's not, it's not like they went in going, I am the best art. Maybe some did. I don't know. Probably Picasso did, thinking that they were it and that they knew everything about what they were doing. But no, I mean, they were working it out daily, trying to figure it out. They had the same frustrations that we have with our art, same kind of like, oh, this could be better, or I don't know what I'm doing, or, all of this stuff, and there's this correspondence Monet had with his gallery owner that was wanting him to send new paintings, and he was like, no, they're all bad. I won't send them to you because I know you're going to tell me they're good, but I know better. I know that they're not good enough, and it's just so, I was just like, I don't know. I just love, seeing that
their own worst critic.
Yeah, we are. We're our worst critics, and we, and even artists like Van Gogh, they never, he didn't sell. I think he sold maybe one painting in his entire lifetime, and now he's considered one of the, greatest painters of all time. But, so we do it because we love it. We don't, it frustrates us. It can be difficult at times working out this process, but it's so worth it. And I hope you are encouraged to try it for yourself. And it's really, you're going to get out of it what you put into it, so you.
Well, I hope they get another chair at that table for you.
What table?
All-time great artist.
Oh, hey. I have no allusions to that. I was telling somebody, Monica Mojo, she's my angel level patron, and so we do a chat once a month. If sometimes once every other month we'll do an extra long one if we've forgotten. But I was telling her, it's like there's a lot of days where I feel like someday y'all are going to figure out that I'm just a Arkansas housewife that doesn't have a clue what she's doing. I've fooled you all. That's how I feel most days. So, yeah. So I don't know if that encourages you. She thought that was pretty funny. It's true though. It's so true. All right. So I like that background. It's it's kind of funky a little bit. I may brighten it up a little bit more in spots, but we are going to be putting the white on top, the glaze on top, to make everything look kind of underwater-ish. So I can go a little bit darker maybe than I'm going to end up with, because we're going to have that white zinc white going on top of it. So just keep that in mind when you're doing yours. Plus we're going to do some dark shadows on top as well. So all right, let's start putting some of our well, actually, let's do the fish first, and then we'll glaze, and then we'll do our lily pads, because those will be on top of everything. So that way we can do our glazing. We won't have to worry about our lily pads. It'll be a little bit easier. So I'm going to grab my orange. This is Cadmium Orange, and these fish are just going to be kind of a combination of all my orangey reds and things. And if I want to tone them down just a little bit, I'm going to add just a little bit of blue. That watercolor, our water is going to affect the color of them a little bit because they're underwater. So that'll tone it down slightly. Oh yeah, I could see where, I'm glad I didn't paint that blue underneath. You can see how much that blue's showing around the side. So I'm going to have to add white to my, if you have an issue with your paint not going on to an opaque enough, or it's not covering another color, just add some titanium white. It'll handle it for you. It's like the bouncer.
Bring in the muscle.
Bringing in the muscle here. Okay. And I switched to a number 4 Filbert here. Squaring off the top of that head there. It's kind of got a spade shape, sort of. There we go. Getting some Cadmium Red Light now. Adding that in. This brush is a little bit big for this, so I'm probably going to have to switch to a little smaller brush here in a minute, but I think it'll be okay just to kind of do the main color. I'm just kind of trying to figure out what the main color of these fish are. We'll just put in that color, and then we'll come back in and add our other details later. And then this one. This one's tail is coming all the way around like that. I think this is going to be a fun painting when we get it done. I'm already liking it, so I have a good feeling about this one. Never painted koi fish before, surprisingly enough. Kind of funny. I just never gotten around to it. We've done the lily pads before, but not the fish.
Everything in its time.
Yep. Exactly. Grabbing some of the unbleached titanium. It's also opaque, so it'll help us too. Might even grab a little bit of yellow. There we go. This fish is a little bit more yellow than the rest. The paint wasn't dry all the way. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I think I made my fish a little bit smaller in this than I did on my reference when I was drawing it out, because these are fitting in nicely. Got lots of water still showing, so we got plenty of room for our little reflections and things to happen, so that it'll really give it that effect of water. Went a little bit more reddish with this one. Left plenty of room for our like fancy fins to be swimming around it. I just felt like that original photo, that was a really well-stocked fish pond. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 fish stuffed in this one little area. So we've narrowed it down to 5. So we've cut the number down by more than half here. And but you're welcome to fill in with more fish by all means. If you want your fish pond to be, super full of fish, do it. You can tuck them in really, easily, overlap them, whatever you want to do. But I just thought this, I'm a little bit more, I don't like a lot of noise in my paintings. I like them to be a little bit cleaner. So that's why I like clean up the backgrounds a lot of times, take out all the stuff, just so you've got room to focus on what we want people to see. All right, I really like that.
Now,
So those little fishies.
would it be illegal to hang this in the bathroom?
Yes, you can hang this in the bathroom.
Okay.
Why would it be illegal?
Well, it's not seashells
Oh,
or beach theme, so
well,
didn't know.
anything nautical themed is probably okay,
okay, all right.
I would think. Go with a little bit more of the darker orange here. That's a long running joke. Sorry, they don't. If you've not watched our seashells videos, you won't have a clue what he's talking about there. So sorry about that.
I'm encouraging people to go watch other videos.
There you go. Good
That's
idea.
Cross marketing or something like that.
Right. Good job, hun. I'm gonna make this guy a little bit bigger. Lengthen him out a little bit. And you can see how I'm kind of dabbing, and the edges aren't perfectly smooth. I'm kind of keeping them a little bit painterly, just kind of go along with that feeling of the rest of the painting. So I'm not like, if you zoomed in real close, there you can see, that edge is not perfectly clean. I definitely need to adjust my focus on my camera. It's not focusing in. Yeah, I don't think it is. I think I did this. Well, did I put it back on last week? During the show?
Did you turn it off?
I don't know, but it doesn't feel like it's focusing. It's not. It's fine. No, don't try to do it.
I'm not going to try to do
Okay.
it. I'm trying to do something else.
Okay. So I'm just adding these reddish colors here to some of these areas of our fish. I had it. Oh. I already did that.
You already did it?
Yeah. Why is it having issues?
No, I was just checking. Sorry.
Alrighty. Yeah, this is cute. So adding other colors in now, just kind of adding to the look of our fish here. I'll grab some of the teal, some of my unbleached titanium. A little bit of white. I'm going to add some more highlights under the water here.
Which brush do you have right now?
This is the number 4 Filbert.
Somebody's asked if orange paint is always see-through.
Orange paint? No, it's not. Yellow tends to be. But cadmiums are opaque generally, so there's the scale on transparent to opaque on the back of the. You can't see it because it's not focusing on it. Frustrating. Okay, I'm gonna have to get that fixed.
We'll add that to the pre-show checklist.
Yeah. So just adding kind of rock shape under the water there. The parts that are sticking up highest are going to be brighter, so I'm just going to add just a little bit of highlight to the top parts of some of these. If we keep them kind of angular, they'll sort of look a little bit more like rocks, maybe. I want to get this right before we put in the rest of our details on our fish, because I don't want to have to try to paint around this later. So I'm just kind of looking here and making sure there's nothing in the very back bottom parts of our painting here in the background that we want to do anything with before we put in our. So there we go. And if you want to, you could even do like speckles like I've done before when I've done rocks underwater. Now this one, we're not doing super realistic type, so I probably wouldn't do this, but if you want it more like really realistic, you can take your sponge brush or sponge and just kind of speckle those rocks a little bit. I don't think it's going to hurt much to do that on there, and it'll definitely give it more of that rock feeling. Using Phthalo blue here. So rocks are like kind of a combination of the teal and unbleached titanium. I added a little bit of yellow to some of them, but I think that's pretty close to what we want. And then we'll want some, get some blue glaze here. We're going to want some dark and around them, because you're going to have those little cracks and crevices, you know, where your rocks sit on the bottom. There's going to be a shadow under them or beside them. So we want to do a little bit of that maybe. And I'm probably getting a little fussy here, so I'm going to have to cut back. But I do want just a little bit more detail on some of those. Okay. Let's grab some glaze with our Phthalo blue. I'm just going to glaze around most of this water area. You can use a paper towel to dab off if it gets too much in one area, but it'll kind of unify the whole thing, unify this whole background. I'm just using glazing liquid and Phthalo blue. It'll kind of give everything sort of that unified look, so it's not, it'll kind of smooth out any of these brush strokes that might seem out of place. It'll brighten it up a little bit too. Just use lots of glazing liquid and mostly just a little bit of Phthalo blue. You can even go over the top of your fish, and we will be doing this again over the top of some of our fish with our Zinc White mixed with this, so it'll be a little bit lighter. So if you want to, you can kind of go over some of the tails, maybe just a little bit. The side of the fish, maybe. So let's go over the bottom of this fish tail here. I'm going to keep it in the blue areas. Overlap our fish a little bit, but I have no idea what's going on with our lily pad. That flower is gonna need some work there. I'm not sure exactly what's happening there. I think it's in there somewhere. Alrighty, so I'm gonna switch to a smaller brush now. Let's get the Filbert here. Just the number 4. And I'm going to use white. And I'm going to pick up that blue. So our white on our fishes are going to have blue and green. It's going to be that water, color of the water mixed in. And let's find down here where it's already dry. I'm going to go ahead and start our fins. So this is going to be the fun part. I'm going to Use a little bit of glazing liquid too, not a whole lot. And I want it white because I do need to cover up our color. So I'm not using Zinc White here because it's not gonna, it won't be opaque enough to cover up our background water. So we need to use Titanium White. And I'm using glazing liquid though to make it a little bit more transparent. And where I want it to be a little bit more subtle, I can add some more of the blue. We'll let you zoom in. Or is it gonna come off? Is it? Okay. So I'm just using the tip of my brush. Oh, that's really pretty. Having this white blue is really what's key to make it look a little bit softer and more flowy. I'm going to go ahead and do white here, even though there's going to be some orange on these fins here. But I'll go ahead and put them in white first. We'll add some orange to them in a minute. Add some white spots to our fish. And then I'm going to get a little bit brighter color and add a little bit of highlight to the tips of some of these. Still have these other colors in my brush, so they're still kind of getting toned down by the blues and things that are happening. Isn't that pretty? I love it. Okay, so there's our one fish, and then we need to give him some spots on the back. So I'm going to get some Indian yellow and some cadmium yellow, a little bit of the unbleached titanium. There we go. I'm just going to dab in a few little indications of some scales. It doesn't have to be a lot, just little dabs there. Let's give him a little highlight on his nose. And then okay, and then I'm going to grab some of the cadmium red and some burnt orange. I'm going to use some of that color on my tail. A little bit coming out on my fins here and here. And a little bit of shadows along one side of the fish here. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit of brighter orange just right in here. There we go. Okay, so let's get to this one here. So let's use the same kind of darker orangish color. I'm going to just dab it on. Create some kind of scale-like patterns. I'm really not being at all fussy about this. I'm just kind of letting it go on there kind of organically, trying to not fuss too much. That'll keep it looking natural. Put a little bit in the tail. And I feel like the blue needs to come in a little bit on the tail here, so I'm going to grab some blue and just pull it in, narrow that tail out right there a little bit.
When you get to a point, I can swap over to the reference photo if you want to turn the autofocus on.
Okay. Like put the, what are we doing? Oh, just so that it'll zoom in, or what?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's, I can't tell if it's being blurry or not.
Oh, okay.
So
it is a little blurry.
okay.
I mean, okay, sorry guys. Yeah. Yeah, auto, okay. Okay, there we go. Thank you.
And we're back.
Nice. Okay, so.
Should have some hold music there.
There, it's focusing. Yay. Yay, it worked.
Yeah, now I can see the grain in the canvas.
Yeah, okay. Good idea, hun. All right, so using this light yellow, I'm just going to kind of go zigzaggy back and forth over the top of the head. It has this kind of triangular shaped thing right here, and then there's a highlight all along the back spine. Get a little bit of white, do a little bit brighter. And it's actually kind of a little bit off center. It's a little bit more towards this side because he's kind of turned slightly, so that highlight kind of doesn't go straight down the middle. It's somewhat off to this side here. And then there's fins here just below, just kind of like if you continued this line out, they kind of come out like that. There and here. And then right here. And then let's dab, dab, dab. Scales. This Filbert makes it really easy to do this. It's already got this kind of rounded shape. In fact, I'm doing it the wrong way. They should go this way. The round part should be facing backwards. Let's get the brighter color. Do that again. There we go. tone that down just a little bit. It seemed like a little bit too perfectly smooth right there. All right, so yeah, getting that kind of feel for fish. Doesn't have to be much, just a little bit of just a little bit of that shape. There we go. And then let's use a little bit of this orangey yellow, the Indian yellow hue, and tiny bit of orange. Just put that on our fins here. And I'm going to add a little bit of blue because I feel like the fins are kind of obscured just a little bit. So I'm going to kind of tone them down just a little bit so they don't stick out so much. There we go. Just like we did with the white and the, you know, highlights, and our white highlights. Let's get a little bit of that orangey color. Use some of that kind of orangey blue in a few places on our fish too. Just going to add a little bit of shadow on him. Good, and then there are some bright highlights right here. I'm going to grab my brush, get some of that yellow color, just pull yellow, white, a little bit of blue to tone it down. To get that color that we used for the fins over here, that blue, white, and just add a little yellow to it. That'll be what we're looking for. There we go. Grab some of that darker orange color and just going to make sure that I have the tail in there. Good. Alright, I'm going to call that good. I don't want to overdo it. I feel like I'm starting to fuss a little bit, so I'm going to pull back. I'm going to get a little bit of white with this orangey color, and I'm just going to kind of highlight the nose of that guy a little bit. There we go. Let's get this guy. So I'm going to get that bright cadmium red, get a little bit of the quinacridone to make it even brighter red. Pull out sort of a little bit where those fins are going to come out, the sides. Grab a little bit of yellow, some of that white. Yeah, there we go. Just dabbing little highlights on this guy, mostly on this one side here. Quinacridone Magenta, a little bit of the blue from the background. Add it right here. In here. Gonna shade the sides of the face a little bit. Shade a little bit on the tail. There we go. I'm going to use a little bit of this color in the tail over here too. It's kind of a purpley purple color. Purpley purple. Purpley color. All right. And yeah, I like it. I like it. Let's use some of that purple. I'm going to I've still got that purple on. I'm adding a little bit more of the cadmium red to it. I'm going to use it up here on this guy. And let's shade out where those fins are coming out. He's pretty. Yeah. Grab the blue, add it to my white. And we'll add this guy's tail. It comes down here and swoops out like that. There we go. And then I'm just going to use that transition between that white tail. Just pull some of that white in over the top. And then pull some of that red over this way. And just blend that out. See how that did? So, grab some white and yellow. Add some yellow spots to this guy's top of his body. Was that cashmere? That's a little sneeze. Most petite sneeze.
She's cleaning herself under the table here.
Oh, okay. Our kitty cat's in the studio today. Spencer's not on cat duty today.
Not babysitting.
Nope, he's not babysitting today. Right, a little bit brighter orange there. A little bit brighter orange here. Okay. And then a little bit more yellow. There's Indian yellow in this. A little bit of the... Just add a little bit of that yellow in there. Okay, now let's go back to that white that we were using for the fins. Glazing liquid, titanium white. A little bit of phthalo blue. Okay. What are you laughing at?
People have been trying their hand at fish jokes.
Uh-oh.
There's finally a good one.
Okay.
So 2 fish are in a tank. One says to the other, "How do you drive this thing?"
Took me a second. That's really good. That's a good one for Mark, for sure. Very appropriate. Bonus points. That was awesome. That's really good. I feel like there's probably some other fins on this guy because these fancy ones have all these fins coming off. So I'm going to go ahead and put some down here just to kind of... Maybe it's underneath him or something. All right. And then this one has lots of fanciness. He is showing off. He's got all this going on. And I'm using this glazing liquid to keep it sort of transparent, but the titanium white is covering really well, so I need it to be somewhat opaque so that it will show up against that blue. Otherwise it would just kind of disappear into there. Nice. Look at all his fancy fins. And then he's got one along his back here that we're seeing. And then his tail. Split. Like that. Grab some more of the brighter white. Add a highlight along the top edge to bring that up forward towards us a little bit more. Up higher on the scene. There we go. So anytime we're doing these brighter highlights, this is going to be the raised. It's closer to us, getting more sun. So these edges here, can just bring them kind of forward and pull them out, give it a little bit more dimension, a little more rotation on the fin. I'm going to put some down the back of that guy, and I feel like I probably put some highlights on this guy's fins too, just a little bit. Maybe along the top of the tail there. And it's definitely brighter up on here, so I'm going to get a little bit more of my yellow and white here. Okay. Mark is leaving the building. Adding some yellow highlights to some of these fish here. Let's add some to this guy. This is that yellow, Indian yellow, and cadmium orange here. More of the cadmium red. Okay, now we're going to get the really small brush here, round, and I'm going to put a little bit of dark eye here. So I'm just mixing purple, blue, a little bit of burnt umber. I'm going to do a little indication of an eye here and here. That's not the right spot. A little bit. Maybe. Okay, there we go. I feel like that is not quite right. I think if we shadow around it, it'll tone it down, kind of. This one, you're only seeing the eye right here. So put a little bit of an indication of an eye right there. And then this one, we'd be seeing it on here. Somewhere, I think. Yeah. You can't really see it because on our picture there's a reflection going right over the top of the eye, so we can put that in and obscure it a little bit, but I think it's right in there. All right, and then this guy has got a little bit more green. His eyes, they're right in here. We gotta do his highlights and stuff still. Getting paint all over my arm. Just get a... Sorry. All right. What are you eating?
Doritos.
I need one.
You need a Dorito?
I need one. Are they the good kind?
Not the white cheddar.
Oh.
The original. You want some white cheddar ones?
They're good. Good TV.
Look us up there, Doritos. Sponsorship, just saying.
White cheddar Cheetos, call me. We got our daughter-in-law hooked on them too while she was here. Alrighty. I'm liking it. It's really cute. Our little fishes got eyes now. I took the color off. Look at that. Wow. That took the paint right off. Don't do that. Let's get some blue here. Put it back on there. Oh, that's weird. crack me up, though. You're just cracking me up over there with your munching noises. I'm sure people can hear you, too.
Let me see. Yeah, I guess so.
It's pretty loud. All right. Let's work on this guy, and we'll start to getting our highlights done. So, an hour, yeah. So, yeah, it's almost 2 hours. Yeah, I kind of figured. I told Mark this could be a long one before we started. I was like, yeah, it's going to be a little bit longer. Sorry, guys. But it'll be worth it, I think. All right, so I added white, cadmium yellow, a little bit of yellow oxide. That's
They just shouldn't make them so tasty.
all the good tasting stuff is bad for you. Except for fruit.
And fruitcake.
No, fruitcake is nasty. It does not qualify.
It's good.
No,
It's a combination of fruit and cake.
it's not good. Don't listen to him. All right, there we go. And then just got a fin along the back here. I'm gonna get some of that blue color, blue with my white. Right there. And then it's going off the end there. You're not seeing the rest of it. Just go ahead and put a little bit of the white with the glazing liquid right in here. And make the fins kind of thin right there. Get a little bit of the orangey color. And then there's a light highlight right here. Get more of the golden yellow here. He's more of a gold colored fish. And then white. For right here. On the nose. And right behind here. And I'm going to use a little bit of that green, mix that with the white. Kind of that around the eye, over the eye a little bit. Just a little bit of green color. some burnt umber or burnt oxide with yellow. Create a shadow color here. This one actually is kind of like a catfish, I think, because it's got little whiskers coming off the front. They do that.
Aren't they a type of
I think they are.
catfish or
What is that called? Carp?
carp?
I think so.
That's fun to say.
Carp.
Carp.
Carp. All right, let's get some purple. Do another dot in the eye here. I'm just going to kind of tone down the eye just a little bit. All these eyes, just give them a little highlight with the lighter orangey color. Go ahead and zoom out. Let's see what they look like. Yeah, they're cute. Probably could have made them a little bit bigger, but right now.
According to Wiki, koi, or more specifically, jinli or nishikikoi, are colored varieties of Amur carp that are kept for decorative purposes in outdoor koi ponds.
Interesting. Carp.
So if they're in other ponds, are they called koi ponds too?
I think so. They just bring the name with them.
No matter what pond they're in?
Right.
Okay.
Gonna add a little bit more gold to this guy over here. And of course, you can make these any color you want. They have all kinds of different colors in them. Sometimes they're more white. And if you do white, just remember to add a lot of blue to it, just like we've been doing on our white areas of our fishes. This is orange. Cadmium orange here. Just add a few more little highlights, just a few places before we add our water over the top. I feel like these tail fins here on this guy could be a little bit longer. I'm going to go ahead and exaggerate that a little bit more. Same thing with this guy. Okay, let's add our lilies. I'm going to go ahead and use the 3/8" angle shader for that. And grab some blue, green, and some purple. A little bit of Unbleached Titanium. A little bit of Quinacridone Magenta. Making our Pac-Man here. And I'm not going to put in all the, sorry, but I'm not going to put in all the water droplets that take forever. So I might put in 1 or 2 and then you can do as many as you want on yours, but that ain't happening today. Going with a little bit more green on this one. Still got a little bit of that purple color in it. I'm going to do the first layer of these first, and then we'll do the water highlights and then continue finishing these because I want to, I don't want to have to paint around these when we do our water. It'll just be easier to worry about it, but we can easily cover over any areas that we cover with our color now. Okay, so these other ones are going to be a little bit brighter, so I'm going to use a little bit of the yellow and yellow oxide to kind of tone it down a little bit, but it's going to be pretty bright. Oh, and one thing I didn't do that we need to do is under the water, when you have these lily pads, you can see the stems of them underneath the water. So we need to do that. We need to just put in some random lines in our, it doesn't have to be very dark, but just some lines under the water, because our lily pads are going to have stems and things showing in under the water there. And a lot of times they're going to be kind of purpley colored. I'll add a little bit of the Quinacridone Magenta there. All right, I'm going to green up here. Yeah, I mean, we could have a whole painting that was just the lotus blossom or the water lily itself. I'm tempted to save it for another lesson.
What part? The water?
The flower.
Oh, the flower.
Add it at a later date, but I don't think we can do it at this point. We've already committed.
I got nowhere to be.
Okay. All right.
But you'll be taking me out to dinner.
Ooh, where are we going?
I'm thinking Mexican food.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm down for that. Get some taquitos. I ordered taquitos the other day at the restaurant we went to with Nathan up in Fayetteville. And it was tacos. It was soft tacos. I was like, that's not what I ordered.
False advertising.
Yeah. Yep. But apparently that's what they call them in other parts of the world. So I was like, well, this is America. And no, I wasn't. I was just, I ate them. They were delicious, but I was wanting taquitos, so. Which, yeah, oddly, they're...
It's one of the more simple foods, but it seems like a lot of places have difficulty making them.
Yes. Well, they didn't even try. I think the flautas were what they were considering taquitos at this restaurant. So I got schooled. Alrighty. So I have no idea why I left this weird big gap in here. I don't know. I think maybe the flower's supposed to go there. But I'm going to go ahead and put blue there just because it seems weird. Okay. So we're going to have to use white with my pink to make this flower even slightly visible over here. It's going to have to be right in here. I'm going to put it kind of in between both of those. Maybe a little bit more on this side. We'll put it right in there. That'll be a good place for it. And so now I'm just going to look at it for a second here. Sorry, I'm going to try to see if I want to put any more lily pads anywhere else. I feel like I probably could have one more right in here. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, maybe not. It doesn't always have to be even, but I like to do that when I can. Or, odd. I mean, odd shapes, odd numbers. Make this one bigger. Just trying to do a second coat here while this dries back here. I need to let that water and all the fish dry before I do anything else to them. So I'm just all right, so let's go ahead and use this brush here. I think maybe the 1/4 inch angle. I'm going to use Phthalo blue with the zinc white. I'm going to start finding spots here to put highlights in my water. I'm just going to try to fuzz out these edges a little bit. And it doesn't have to go over everything, but I am going to do most of the fishes covered. And there are ripples. So I'm just trying to figure out where those would be. This one may have them all over across him. Let's just put some ripples going all the way across and off. If I keep this transparent enough, I'll still be able to see everything through the fish. But we'll have these little lines of transparency that's happening in our water. So let's do some little ones around this there. Following the lily pad a little bit. Here the water's butting up against it. Sometimes you're going to see reflections of the sky too, so you could, in some of these I've seen where they've done like clouds in the water. You could do that. Ours is not reflecting the sky so much, I don't think, but we do want to have these little, just do this slowly, build it up slowly. You don't have to do it all at once. So I'm just going to find little spots that make sense to me to put my, and since I have done my own version here, I'm kind of having to try to figure out where to put these reflections myself. So you may have a photo that already has your reflections in it that you won't have to do this to, but and just go right over the top of your fishes in some places. Right over the top. Keep it transparent, very light. This is why we're using the zinc white here. Okay, so this one's got lots of ripples coming over the top of it. Just make sure they all kind of make sense. So just keep them flowing one into another. They don't have to all be going the same direction, but you know, where they meet, they should make sense, you know, so they should be able to kind of interlock somehow with one another. So this water stays kind of flowy, like you don't want to have one going this way and then another one just butting right up against it. So anytime that I'm kind of meeting one with another, I'm going to try to, you know, have something that's kind of going to make sense, that makes it realize that it's turning when it gets to that point. This is a little bit obvious, though. I don't want it too much there, but you get the idea. Okay. Okay, this guy's got wiggly lines right over the top of him. Remember, this one had that right over the top of the eye there. So.
Ooh, we got an art question.
Yes.
They would like to know, do they add another color to the zinc white or just stay straight zinc white?
Yeah, it's got a little bit of the blue in it. I added a little bit of that phthalo blue to it before I started. So, got a little bit of phthalo blue. Okay, now I'm going to use a little bit of the darker color. So let's use a little bit of glazing liquid with our ultramarine and purple. Looking at these now, these little shadow things happening. And I don't think I have enough of the white yet, so we'll go back to that and add more. Yeah, a little bit of brown to it just to tone it down just a little bit. Phthalo, I just got all my dark blues and purple, a little bit of brown in here with this. All right. That's good. Now, so this one has got these interesting ripply things happening. And so I'm dabbing and creating kind of irregular shapes in my water there. In between the white areas. Reinforce the shapes that are happening. This one's got a lot of big ones coming down here. That'll kind of connect up. Okay, I'm going to grab some of that Zinc White, a little bit of teal, and I still have this other color in here. Get some green. There we go.
Okay, somebody's asked, how would you do a ripple if you wanted the koi to seem like they're above the water line?
Oh, okay. Like it's coming up above the water?
Yeah,
or breaching.
like it's breached.
I would do a little bit around the around it. So it'd have just a little bit of ripples coming around, maybe a little bit of dark shadow on the water or something coming around that part. Not quite as dark as that. That make sense? Okay. And just trying to make sure that my ends of any of these all kind of just blend out. They don't kind of end abruptly. So I'm going to shadow underneath our lily pads as well. Maybe a little bit too much. You can always go back in and dab off a little bit of it. Seems a little too dark. And then we can use a little bit of the brighter phthalo blue too with our zinc white, just a little bit of brighter. Lots of glazing liquid. Do some of those. This will be kind of like we did before when we glazed. It'll kind of unify it, tone down some of the brighter spots. Yeah, this is kind of working, I think. Get the idea? Got that feeling of ripples. Okay, and then we can use a little bit of the zinc white. To do even brighter highlights over some. Use a little bit of that dark. pronounced than others. Like some areas the water's getting the sunlight on it really bright, so you're gonna see more of the reflection than the underneath part. So you can make some of them a little bit more obscured, a little bit of the brighter highlights on them, maybe. Like that one. I'm gonna even get a little bit of white here. And just put oops, I just stuck a hair on there. I want to do that.
I don't think koi fish have hair.
No. Well, that one did for a second there.
I'll have to Google that. Maybe they live near a nuclear plant.
We do, so you never know.
True dat.
After watching Chernobyl, I'm like wondering if we need to move. It's scary. Alright, so now I'm going to take this dab in some little highlight spots on our water. There's all these little speckles of sunlight happening. I'm using the Zinc White here. To use the go. And then there's some like green, yellow highlights like in the water, so I'm just going to try to do that on a few of them over here. And like in a few spots in there. I think the sunlight's catching the water just right, and it's adding a little bit of green. Alright, I like this. I like how it's turning out. It's kind of cool. So let's work on our lily pads a little bit more. We'll be done. Add a little bit more of my maybe a little bit of burnt sienna. A little bit of purple, a little bit of Quinacridone Magenta, a little bit of Unbleached Titanium just to make it a little bit brighter because it's so dark, and then a touch of green. There we go. I'm just going to use this, kind of dab it on my lily pads. Put a little bit of the purple in the water too. Okay, you doing, hon? Hanging in there?
I'm doing good.
Good. Okay, let's use this dark purple underneath the pads in the water. Just leave a shadow. There we go. Yeah, I like it. I think it's turning out all right. It's different. What do you think? Am I missing anything? So far, so good.
It's looking good to me.
Okay.
People are concerned about the flower.
Oh yeah, we'll get to it. I want to get the lily pads done first, so. Because they're going to be underneath it, you know, obviously. She's going to go on top, so. Getting more yellow here. Just adding some. This one's got pink. Kind of a starburst shape where the center of the lily pad is, so I can kind of find that, and it's usually right where the tip of that pie wedge is happening, which I don't think I made mine deep enough, because I'm seeing now that my centers of my, I think let's make those pie wedges a little bit deeper there. Pack 'em in. So that I can have a good starburst shape there. So let's do that here too. Bring that in a little bit deeper. This one needs to go way deeper too.
Were you going to be adding the water drops?
Maybe on one or two, but I'm not going to do as many, no.
Okay.
No. Just too many. You could do as many as you want on yours.
So if I wanted to do 628,
Exactly.
I could do that?
You could do that. I will not stop you.
Okay.
get a little bit of that teal and add that into that purple color here. And I've got a little bit of the Quinacridone Magenta. This is that Quinacridone White underneath here. So I was picking up a little bit of that too. I'm going to use this in my kind of highlight color on some of these lighter parts of these. And it may be a little bit too bright, but we'll see. Okay, and then that bright Quinacridone right here. There we go. Paint's getting kind of dry. Purple and green. That's our kind of original color. I'm adding a little bit of teal to it. There we go. So using Quinacridone there. Just kind of finding colors to highlight my darker purpley ones here. There we go. And then our more yellow ones, we'll just use a little bit of the Unbleached Titanium with my yellow and green here. And they're kind of highlighted sort of in the middle. The tops of them tend to curl up just slightly, so they can tend to be a little bit darker, seems like. And a little bit of really bright yellow-green right there in the center. Let's do a little bit on this one. This one's going to be a little bit darker because it's got the shadow of the flower that's sitting on top of it, so keep it somewhat darker. Okay, I'm happy with this. Just adding brush strokes kind of mimic the shape.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. Take a look at the help section in your Alexa app.
Alexa. She's been messing up this week. She lost connection again. She keeps losing connection. For some reason. some brighter green here. Put on our, I like it. I like them. They're looking really good. I'm happy. All right, let's add our flower, and then we can add a few water drops and we'll be done. So if you don't want to draw this and you want to be able to paint it, but just, you know, you just don't feel like the drawing is your strength or forte, just not really into it, you can order my traceable for this on Patreon. So I do have traceables for all of my, almost all of the 300 paintings. I think we have 270 maybe traceables available on Patreon. So most of the paintings, all of the paintings from 2017 and onward, all of them have, so all of them the last 2 years have traceables on my Patreon thing. And if you are a patron and are looking for a particular traceable and you can't find it on Patreon, you can go to my website, which is thankfulart.com, and that will have the actual, there's a page of traceables, and you can just find the one you want, and it'll lead you over to the Patreon website where it's saved. So if you want to check out what traceables we have available, you can go there first and see, and then before you sign up, and then you can, it'll take you straight to Patreon where you can sign up if you click that, any of the traceables on my website. So, okay, so I'm going to start with darker purple here, or darker pink here, and I'm just going to kind of reinforce the outline of this flower a little bit. Might make it a little bit bigger, but grab some of the lighter pink here. I might switch to a smaller brush. I don't know, this one's working okay. So the outside edges are just kind of these spoke shapes. I'm not going too far down into the middle because I want to leave room for the inner petals too. So just kind of keep your highlights toward the outside of the flower, towards the outside edges. Petal. And then we've got, also got all kinds of fun other stuff going on this month on Patreon. If you check out my schedule, you can see the upcoming videos we're doing, but we started on our bird. The lilac-breasted roller it's called. It's a really pretty bird. We're going to be painting that all month in my group for the $10 and up patrons. We just got the drawing done last week, so we're going to be starting on painting it. And if we get it done early, I'm going to be working on some paintings for the Princeton, our brush sponsor, sent me their entire line of select brushes, and we're going to be working on some videos for their website to show how to use the different brushes. So that's going to be ongoing for the next couple of months at least, because I've got 29 videos to do for them. It's a lot. So I thought maybe those folks in that group, we can, the $10 and up Patreon group, are probably going to film with them. Spencer, excuse us. My son. Film with them. They can watch the behind the scenes of that process, what we're doing for Princeton. They get the kind of inside scoop. And maybe you get to influence what I'm painting too, a little bit. So, that'll be fun this month. Alright, so now I've got the outside in. I'm going with just this brighter color right along the tip of my brush. And I'm drawing in the next layer of flowers. They're kind of going in between what we've already done. Trying to keep this is a lazy way of doing it, so it's faster. Trying to keep a little bit of that background petal showing before I do the one on top. So these inner petals here are just basically a little V shape. I do like the style of this painting, how it's turning out. I like the looser style. I think the looser style like this is just a little bit more accessible for beginners. This has got a lot of steps in it, but definitely think it's not all that hard. Maybe the flower is probably one of the harder parts here, just because it's taking a little control. But the actual fins and things of the fish were actually really pretty fun. I think they're fairly easy to do. They're pretty forgiving. You know, you don't have to have it just so. Let's see here. I'm just going back here and like making sure that I've got dark behind these front petals here. I'm going to do this again, these two again. I feel like they got a little too buried. Okay. Let's go ahead and switch to the smaller brush. That'll help too. So let's get the number 3 round. And dip these brushes back in the water. Make sure they don't dry out before I get to wash them. I don't want to keep them in my water, but I do want to keep them wet so they're not drying out. Okay, so let's see.
So you did a tutorial. I think it was sometime last year with the water droplet.
Yep.
That showed techniques for doing the ripples in water.
I did.
Would that be helpful if they want to add more detail here?
Possibly, yeah. Yeah, could be.
It could be, or it could be completely useless.
Well, that painting was very tightly controlled. It was very, like, you know, there wasn't any impressionist style at all with it. It was very ultra realistic. So it may not help in the style wise. It might help just structure wise, but it wouldn't help them stylistically at all. If that makes sense, you know. There's just not not the same style type of painting. This is much looser style. Okay, so some of these are now, we're seeing just the edge, so I'm just going to do a comma stroke on some of these.
Now I know you have a tutorial for comma strokes.
I do. It's an older one. Brush strokes video. And you could put several of these flowers if you wanted more. But okay, I think that's pretty good there. And then the center is all of these. I'm going to get some Cadmium Red Light here. Tap in some of that. And then get some yellow. If I can get some that's not dried already on me. So there we go. There's a gooey center in there. Pull it out. These have been sitting here for 2 or 3 hours, almost 4 hours. So they're doing good to stay with that one. Dab, dab, dab. Little dabs of yellow. Oh yeah, water drops. Okay. I was like, we're done. No, we're not done yet. Let's do so.
Oh, yeah, for the love of all things holy.
Please do the water drops.
Do not forget water drops.
Okay. It's been a thing for you, honey. You've been. Okay. So on the ones that are more purpley, we're going to add the purpley dark, but then these are kind of more of the lighter. So I'm going to use glazing liquid. And I'm going to, let's find one of these here. I'm going to just do kind of an outline of a squiggly water drop. Let's do a couple of them.
Oh, now it's Pac-Man. Oh, wait a minute.
Like that, right? Okay. I'm going to use some yellow. That's our highlight color on our thing here with some glazing liquid. And I'm going to kind of come out along the inside and highlight a little bit. So outline it. Come along one side, just figure out what side you want your highlight side to be. Do them all the same on all of them though. Once you pick a side, stick with it on all of them. Add a little bit more of the white. There. And these ones don't have a ton of they don't have like really bright highlights on them. If you want to, you could add, just a little bright highlight on part of it, but they're pretty loose, so I'm keeping it more loose. The other ones that I've done, in the past have been a little bit more like tight, a little more controlled looking. But this one is, I'm going to do one over here. Since this painting style is more loose, I'm keeping this style of our water drops looser too. So just keep that in mind. You want to stylistically make your painting kind of make sense. So get some lighter color, use white with the shadow color there. Just add some white to it. I'm going to use a little glazing liquid just to make it a little bit more transparent, but our highlight side was at the top here, so the top right, and so we're doing the same thing on these ones. And then we can add just a little bit of a brighter highlight. Just maybe up toward one side. I'm using the kind of green from the middle there. I'm going to use some of this green that's over here and this one too. Just a little bit. Alright. So let's do one more maybe over here and then we'll be good. And if it's not showing up, I'm going to use a little bit of the lighter color to kind of outline it a little bit. There we go. Maybe grab some of that Quinacridone Magenta in this one. Highlight our inside with that. And again, I'm keeping it a little bit more loose since stylistically it'll just go better with the rest of our painting. We don't want like a super realistic thing stuck right in the middle of top of our more kind of loosely styled painting. Let's get a little bit of that dark purple added shadow here if I can get it to show up. All right, zoom on out there, honey, and see how we got. Yeah, I like it. I think this needs a little bit of work here. I'm going to put a little bit of teal blue on him. A little bit of the phthalo blue, phthalo green, a little bit of that teal. Just going to put a little bit of that on this guy. Anything else we need to do before we go? Did we catch everything? You're not listening to me.
I didn't know if you were talking to yourself or not, so
no, I was talking to you.
You usually answer yourself when you say, "Is there anything missing here?" And I turn on my mic and I go to speak, and then you answer yourself. And I'm like, okay, so.
You were just figuring I was talking rhetorically to myself. Again.
Just talking to yourself.
Just talking to myself in general. Check. I've been known to do that. All right. Yeah, I like it. It's kind of cool look. Yeah. All right. I'm going to stop. Thanks, guys, for watching today. Oh, we've got super chats. All right. Let me sign it.
Wow, you're just jumping into the... Get out of here.
Super chat. Yay. All right. I'm going to grab my 10-aught liner here. Actually, I'm going to get the 18-aught one. I like it better. Short liner. Go for it.
All right. We had a bunch of people in today and
nice.
Lots of chatting.
Yay.
About food, of course, as we try to do.
Well, yeah.
And we had 2 super chats. The first one was from Maureen. And she says, can't stay to watch today, but wanted to show my appreciation for all you teach us.
Aw.
Thank you, Angela and Mark.
Thank you, Maureen. Well, she's probably not here to hear it, but
No, but
thank you.
we'll say thank you anyways.
Yeah.
And then from our friend Denise, she says, hi, Angela. For the first time doing koi fish, it's a masterpiece.
Oh,
Here is a little something to show my support and to thank you and Mark for all you do, and have a pleasant evening. Just chill out, my friends.
yay. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise.
That's awesome. We so appreciate you guys. That's great. Very cool.
You need to do paintings that make the disco lights show up a little bit better, okay?
It doesn't show up very good against the
Or I
sun.
need to have a switch to turn all the lights off so that they come out better.
I see.
I mean, priorities here.
Okay. Well, you can turn it off anytime now because it's making it hard to see what I'm doing here. There we go.
It's all about you. Again.
I've been accused of that before.
Yeah. So what did that message say again?
Can you do away with Mark? He's distracting. Nope, I think I'm going to keep him. Sorry. We've had him around for 30 years. Let's still keep him around.
Almost 31.
Yeah, 31 next week. So Tuesday night is our anniversary.
Yes, it is.
And we're going to be painting. Because that's just how we roll.
Mm-hmm.
So we will be doing the tank for Mark for our anniversary since, that's his jam. I have more negatives on that video ahead of time.
Are you serious?
Yeah, there's like 11 negatives on it
11
already.
thumbs down.
Yeah, like nobody is happy about it. But too bad. It's for Mark, so you're just going to have to get over it. Sorry.
Oh, that is awesome.
I know. I went by it the other day and I was kind of looking and I happened to look down and see. It was like, okay, well, nobody likes the tanks. All right. I'm not surprised. I mean,
Or me.
Yeah. Or you. They don't like you either.
It's probably my haters.
Yeah, probably.
Don't do a painting for him.
Yeah. You do a little.
He talks
highlights
too
on
much.
those. He talks too much. I think if I stopped feeding you, might stop showing up. So that would be something to try.
You got internet here, so I can play my video games. I'll keep coming around.
All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for hanging in with us. This was a long one, but I hope you enjoyed it. And we will see you on Tuesday night for a much shorter video for the tank. And then next weekend, we got the Black Horse. So I'm looking forward to that one. Shouldn't be nearly as long as this, I think. Probably a couple hours, I'm guessing. But it'll go along with the White Horses that we did earlier in the year. So.
Yep, and the people who...
And we'll be doing it on a larger canvas, too.
That you have their email addresses, too. Got an email yesterday with the schedule and links and all that stuff.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, so if you want my email newsletters, we're going to be having those once a week now. If you go to my website, thankfulart.com.
What did you do to your fingers?
We murdered them.
Okay, I was going to say.
It's dried, too.
Turn into a horror painting here. Sorry.
I should take a picture of that. All right. Thanks, guys. Yeah. So go to my website. You can check it out, and you can sign up for the newsletter down there, too. All right. We'll see you next time. Bye.